Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We got a legend in here today, the legendary Warren G.
What's up? What's up?
How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, man.
Feeling good?
Yeah, yes, indeed.
All right.
Does the East Coast time mess with you a little bit?
I know how to adapt. I've been in it so long. I know how to switch it up when. Yeah, I'm good.
Absolutely.
Straight off the BET Awards, performing with Snoop for the tribute.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
How was that?
It was fun. It was fun. From the rehearsals all the way to doing the actual show, just vibing with everybody and sing, even seeing the other artists that was there. It was just good. A good vibe all the way around, just seeing everybody and having a good time, joking, talking shit a little bit.
So you got the phone call you was looking for. I saw the interview that you did, and you were saying how, like, yo, I just want Snoop and Dre to holler at me, man. I don't want nothing, you know what I mean?
No, that didn't have nothing to do with none of that.
Okay.
No, well, I got a call. I got hit to, that he wanted me to do the honor with him, so that's my dog. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So anytime he need me, I'm there, man. Yes, indeed.
I think that conversation was good though, because when you said that I can't remember who he was interviewing with, but when you said that, it's like everybody started giving you your flowers. Everybody started talking about what Warren G has contributed to hip hop, what he's contributed to West Coast cultures. I think sometimes you got to speak up for yourself, man. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't know about, a lot of the things that I've did, so I speak on it, in interviews and just trying to let the new generation see, what I've contributed to hip hop, and not let it get erased.
That's right.
But let's go back there. So for people that don't know Warren G, let's say, right, from the West Coast, you introduced Snoop to Dr. Dre. But before that, how did you get into the rap game? What made you get into rap, and how did you meet Dre and I guess create that family?
Well, I've been around Dre since I was probably about, I'll say maybe 11 to 12, something like that. My father married his mother, Verna, and I didn't have no older brothers. I just had sisters. But my sisters was they bodyguard hard. They wasn't playing.
Right.
And I mean, that's where it started at.
So y'all stepbrothers.
Yeah. And then musically, my father, I used to, he would pick me up on the weekends, bring me to his house, and play jazz all day. So I would listen to the jazz and just fall in love with it. And to this day, he still asks me, like, do you remember Chuck Mangione? I'm like, yeah, I still got it. Daddy's in my playlist. And that's what instilled the good vibe as far as when in my music, the way I like to have that good feeling music, that came from that. But as far as in the hip hop, it was just like all the groups, Run DMC, NWA, Easy, the Fat Boys, LL, everybody that was in hip hop, I wanted to be like them, because that's what was going around the neighborhoods and stuff like that. And then, me being, around Dre and Tyree, that I had two big brothers. So
were y'all close, or was it one of those things where y'all stepbrothers?
Oh, okay. We was always close, always. So just being, the young one around two older brothers, you want to follow what they do. So, Dre was DJing with the not, it wasn't the world class wrecking crew, it was a high powered crew with Easy and Sheen and they gonna get mad at me. Everybody, I couldn't mention everybody, but they had a crew. So I hear mixtapes all the time. So I fell in love with a lot of the music that he was mixing and stuff in the room. So I asked him to show me how to do it one day, and he showed me. So I fell in love with that. I was an athlete as well. I played football, and just having somebody, a bigger brother to look up to, him and Tyree, was just that was cool. You know what I mean? And they taught me a lot, and you know, I had to go through a gladiator school from Long Beach to Compton, just back and forth. So, you know, they had me right. They used to call me Kibbles and Bits because I used to get it in.
What was the difference between Long Beach and Compton? I mean, we're not from out there, so is it like two different worlds? Or?
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Only street that it's one street that separates us is called Greenleaf, and once you pass Greenleaf, you're in Compton, or you go up Atlantic. Right before Greenleaf, everybody from Compton coming here. It's all the same, pretty much. And then you got Carson right next to us, and then you got Compton, Linwood, and then you got Watts. That's all. We call it the Mad Circle. Yeah, and it's real close. You know, everybody. It's damn near the same.
Now, you know, Envy said you introduced Snoop to Dre, but did you ever feel like you were also introducing Dre to the sound that, you know, him and Snoop was kind of about to define for a whole coast?
I was just trying to get us all put on. We didn't know that we was gonna you know, that it was gonna turn into what it turned into. But
really?
we didn't. But what we did when we started working on the Chronic is we brought all the energy that we had and what we wanted to do, you know, and brought it in and put it into Dre to bring him back to where he should be, you know. So that's when we did the Chronic, and we collaborated and made that a classic.
You're celebrating 30 years of the Regular album. How does that feel?
Well, it feels good, you know. I still feel the same as I did back then. I really don't be tripping that much. I just be wanting to keep working, like just keep working. But it feels good, and you know, just to, you know, see that my records is still spinning.
Yeah.
Since like 91, 92, around that time, and it's a good feeling, and I just keep trying to
it's going viral
create more of that.
Stuff. You've been seeing that. I know you probably don't keep up with the TikTok, but like it's a couple of your songs, like these kids are making like viral trends with it.
Yeah.
So like that's what's up.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's like it keeps starting over. Like every generation, the new generation that comes, it starts over, and then they fall in love with it. So I'm down with that.
You know, did when you first introduced Snoop to Dre, and y'all was in the studio doing the Chronic, did he ever teach you anything about producing that you turned into your own style, or did you always feel like you had a more distinct sound from his?
Using live musicians. I used to just sit there and watch, and then he actually taught me how to splice tape, put tape back together, and I used to watch.
Young kids ain't gonna know what you're talking about with that one, but
splicing tape.
Splicing tapes and all that.
Well, it's where you cut the tape, and you gotta actually piece it back together yourself with alcohol and the tape, that special tape that it has with it. He taught me that. Taught me how to EQ. I mean, he taught me. He taught me, you know, sampling on the MPC 60. Him and Code 187 from Above the Law. I mean, he showed me some things, but I pretty much, you know, learned the basics and then started doing my own style, you know, because I didn't want people to say, oh, well, because he with Dre, because this is, you know, that's why I created my own, you know, shit over here, so.
Do you feel like you missed the bus? I don't want to say missed the bus because you didn't miss the bus, but when you were 17, you got locked up, right? And that's when Dre took off.
I wasn't that locked. I don't get locked up.
Oh, okay, because that's when it felt like that's when you got your name from Warren G. They said you got your name in jail.
No.
How did you get the name Warren G?
Warren Griffin.
His name is Warren Griffin, man.
Oh, that's what they said.
What the hell?
No, I'm
my first name.
Why would that be a jail name? Why would a nigga in prison be like, you know what, I'm gonna name you
No,
Warren?
but that's what they said. That's what they said. Yeah, but they said he would.
Man, what?
That's what I'm asking.
No, I'm not. No, I ain't no like. I ain't no brutal like.
He thought G was for gangster.
It's Warren G. That's Griffin. I wasn't in and out of. I mean, I've been, but you know, I wasn't like like always going to jail. I was cool. They called me Sir Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The total opposite of
Yes,
gangster.
indeed.
Nice. I like
You know,
that.
on
That
the
don't mean I won't get off in a motherfucker ass.
Right.
don't say that in jail. You don't want to say that. Now, on the outside looking in, to us, well, at least to me, G-Funk looked like it was created by you and Dr. Dre. But then when you do research, you hear names like, what's his name, Big Hutch, I think his name?
Yeah, Above the Law. Yeah,
Okay.
Code 187. Above the Law, Cam G, Go Mack, Total Chaos, Lay Law, Cocaine. They took me in. When I was a pup, I didn't, you know, I really didn't have nowhere to go at the time, and Lay Law and 187 had took me in, and I started hanging with them, you know, and that's why I say that 187 taught me a lot, as far as the MPC 60 as well as Dre. But they made me G-Funk. You know, they was already saying gangster funk, G-Funk. So, but what I did was I took, you know, my you know, for me being in it, I took and branched it off, and I said the G-Funk era. You know, just it's still this, but then I started my own sound within the gangster funk, and made it the G-Funk era. And you know, it's hey, those the guys that put me in it, and I took it and made it worldwide. You know, for the world to know what G-Funk was about, along with Snoop and Dre, everybody saying G-Funk as well.
So if G-Funk had a Mount Rushmore, who would be on it? Like, who do people forget? I guess it would be them brothers, right?
Yeah, Above the Law would definitely be on there. You
don't got to be humble.
No, I ain't. I'm saying shit. Me, I'll be on there too. Lay Law, because he's the head guy over everything. It was recipes Lay Law, recipes Go Mack, but he was the head honcho of G-Funk. And like I said, I got my branch and created the G-Funk era. You know, and that's when I took it worldwide. But them was my guys. They set it off. That's it right there. For real.
When did Nate Dogg come into the picture?
Nate came in. Well, he was always in Long Beach, but as far as when he came together with me and Snoop, me and Snoop was already like up in North Long Beach. We was moving around doing little things here and there, trying to build our name. And Nate just popped up one day on the spot, you know, where we was hustling at, and he had heard about us doing what we was doing, so he came up and just blended in with us, and we started calling ourselves 213. But as far as Nate, period, all of us knew each other from Kings Park, from elementary school all the way up.
How was he received though? 'Cause
even the twins. No, he was.
Y'all were rappers, and he was singing. So what? Do you remember the first time he said, "Hey, this is what I do," and he sang for you?
No, Nate was in the church circuit, so he was singing a lot. But it just happened, you know, when we would get in the room and we'd be freestyling and, you know, beatboxing, freestyling and stuff. Nate started just singing along, like while we busting, he just started singing some gangster shit. You know, that's different. It wasn't like, you know, just like, it wasn't normal. He was just, it was kind of like a rap singing type of vibe that he would do. And he was just saying some real things with it.
And how did the Def Jam deal come about?
Def Jam started with let me see, that was I had a record. Actually, I was at the studio. Once again, at the studio. It was me, Snoop, Dre, all of us. They was working on I think it was we was in the studio. They was working, and Paul Stewart and John Singleton was there for Snoop to do the first single for the Boys and Justice soundtrack. So I'm in there just hanging out. This is like later on when I was kind of by myself, but I still would come to the studio and things like that. But so I asked John and Paul Stewart, I are they looking for any more songs? So they was like, yeah. So I was like, can I play a record for you? So me and Paul walked to the car. I had a raggedy little Regal. I jumped in the car, popped in a tape deck. It was a song called Endo Smoke with me and Mr. Grimm. It went for about maybe like 30 seconds, and he said, stop. And so I stopped, and he was like, can I take the tape? I said, yeah, just give it back to me.
Just
and,
give it back to me.
Give it back. So that Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was, I know it was a weekend we was working, but they called me, and they was like, we want this to be the first single on the Poetic Justice soundtrack. So I was like, are you serious? He was like, yeah. So I was like, damn.
And you weren't signed at the time at all?
I wasn't signed with nobody. So that whole thing went through. Endo Smoke blew up. It went gold. It was everywhere. It was going crazy. And so a bunch of companies was trying to find out,
who the artist was.
Who was these guys? So there was a lot of companies calling. So Paul hit me like, Def Jam want to talk to you. So I'm thinking like, shit, they don't want to talk to me. They want Mr. Grimm, because Mr. Grimm was dope as well. That's who the record was for. And so we had got on the call. It was Leor, Chris Lighty, and Tracy Waples. They actually all flew out too as well. But so we on the call, and I'm like, I can't believe this is Def Jam on the phone with me. So they was asking about the guys on the song. So they was like, okay, well, who was the guy with the kind of like melody to what he's doing? So I'm like, damn, they must be talking about Mr. Grimm. So I was like, that's Mr. Grimm. He wanted, that's one of the guys rapping on there. They was like, the guy with the kind of like singing thing. He said, you mean the little chant type? I said, that's me. So they was like, yeah, that's the guy we want. So I was like, me?
That's
so
me.
I was like, shit, all right, shit. So we just, from there, I had to decide, like, because there was other companies coming in after that. It started piling up. I guess the word got around. So I had to think about, who would be best for hip hop.
Right.
So I had a flashback. I went all the way back to Crush Groove, the Beastie Boys, Fat Boys, Run DMC, and Russell, and Rick Rubin, and I'm like, this is the late. And I started thinking about Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, everybody, and I was like, shit, I'm LL Cool J. I said, I'm fucking with this right here. I'm with them. So I said, fuck everybody else. I want to roll with these people because they hip hop. This is huge, and I'm a fan of Crush Groove and B Street, so I was like, that'll be different, and signed. And
they said you saved the label during that time. They said the label was going through a lot of of losing money. Artists weren't selling. They said you revitalized the label back then.
Yeah. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And until we started, the record sales started going like every week. I was selling like 200 and some thousand every week. So it was huge. But I didn't know. I didn't know they was in debt or anything like that. And then Leor had told me one day, he was like, we use like credit cards and different things to get you this money.
Wow.
For your advance. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. But he was like, you really did, us a big favor. And we had big parties and, all of that.
Yeah, that's cute, but where my money at?
That part. Where's my motherfucking money?
Did you ever feel like they owed you more because of that? Like that should have been
Definitely,
that should have came with a bonus.
It was a whiteboard in there, and it said like how my album had made like 100 million. So I'm like, $100 million? Where my shit at? Shit, I didn't over recouped. They can't never say I ain't recouped. And I made some money. It wasn't like it should have been, but I made some pretty good bread. It wasn't like stupid money out of that 100 million. It wasn't a lot out of that.
Did you see at least 10 from that?
Nowhere near it.
What?
Nowhere near it.
Does it bother you though that when a lot of times they mention Def Jam, sometimes you don't hear Warren G?
They do, but it's quick.
Yeah,
it's brief.
Does that bother you, especially when Leo telling yo we was using credit cards to pay your stuff, and you helped. We made $100 million during a time when it wasn't happening. Does that bother you at all?
Yeah, it pissed me off. Sometimes, but I charge it to the game. I'm like, look, God damn. It ain't nothing I could do. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing I could do. But yeah, I get pissed off about it.
Was you supposed to see that whiteboard?
Probably not.
I don't think you're supposed to see that whiteboard. What?
Probably not.
Damn.
Just being, in the office, I used to go. This was on Varick Street out here.
Yep.
I just used to walk around the office, like walk around the whole building, and I seen that shit, and I was like, God damn. And Leo was flossy too. He'd tell you, yeah, this made this much money, and I'm like, man, I got to, let's get it cracking.
Yeah.
But anything I needed, they would do it though. I know that. I told them I need this house, boom. Same old record company. It was like Cadillac Records kind of, where I need this. Okay, they get it. But I made bread too. It wasn't nowhere near what that, but I'm at it.
How did you break the news to Mr. Grimm?
Shit.
They want me, not you.
Yeah, that's just what it was, But I still would bring Grimm on things, and Grimm actually got signed. I think he had signed right with Sony. But we was cool. I still was pushing for him, even though he hadn't. I thought they wanted him, but never went on no big head shit. I still fucked with him, and whatever he needed, I was with him.
Why do you think you were never fully bought into the Death Row circle as far as like being signed?
I don't know, shit.
Because it seems that's the way that you would go, right?
Yeah. Well, I was ride or die.
Was it politics? Was it your personality? Was somebody hating?
I think what kind of had Suge pissed off at me was because I wasn't like one of those type of artists that'll just sign any motherfucking thing, and and we was presented with contracts, so I told everybody we need to get lawyers to look at these contracts before we sign them. So the word that got back to him that I was trying to get a lawyer to look at the contract, so he came out pissed off.
Because you was doing the right thing?
Because I was doing and
the same thing he would do.
Exactly. That nigga wouldn't have, he'd have been doing the same shit. So I'm like, how can you get mad at me? So he's probably pissed off about that. And then, I wasn't like, with a lot of shit. I wasn't gonna just follow whatever everybody else was doing. I wanted to do my own shit. I ain't gonna, and I, like I always say, I ain't really that. He been knowing me since I was like 15, 16 years old. So it's just like I done known this motherfucker all my life. I ain't ready to be, man, I'm cool. But that probably was one of the main things that had him pissed off. And then I used to get into it with different guys around. I just wasn't with the bullshit, right? And he'd talk shit about me here and there, and then I talk shit back just to let him know, like, but it be facts. I ain't gonna say something that's a lie, and but at the end of the day, I ain't got nothing against that dude. It is what it is. He do what he do. I just keep pushing and doing what I do, and actually it was a blessing that I didn't go that route, because it turned out even better for me. I'm able to do whatever I want to do. I can go wherever I want to go. And that's why I came to the East Coast, is to be different, you know, than the regular, the same old, just to get away, you know. And when I came over here, it was nothing but love, you know. It was nothing but love. Wasn't nobody talking that East Coast, West Coast shit. That wasn't no East Coast, West Coast thing. That was crew shit. These people against these people. None of that. Cause I had love over here. I was in Brooklyn, the Bronx. I was everywhere. Like Harlem, 146 in Lenox, everywhere. Queens, Jamaica, Queens. LL took me to Jamaica, Queens. Showed me his grandmother's house where he did all his shit. I was blown away. Like
Right on Farmers, yeah.
that shit was. I even seen the sidekick that was in Tina Got a Big Old Butt. I was like, damn. Yeah. So
do you think being close to Death Row but not actually being in it gave you a clearer lens on the chaos that was happening within Death Row? Because you was on the outside looking.
I mean, shit. I used to be wild too, but I mean it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like a gang of just super duper crazy ass shit going on when I was around. I mean, some of the things that went on after I was gone, I was like, damn. Like I said, it was a blessing to be away, away from that shit and not get caught up in that, because it wasn't cool, you know. And but I still had to deal with it, even though I wasn't signed to Death Row, this, that, and this. Everywhere I go, niggas was still tripping with me, like, because I'm associated, so. Everywhere I went, I still had to deal with it. You know, even though I was with Def Jam, I had to deal with that shit, like from the street side.
I just wonder, how did it feel for you watching, like, the Death Row story unfold, right? Like, you know, they were growing, and you know that your sound helped build that house, but your name wasn't necessarily on the lease.
Shit, I was pissed off. You know, I was pissed off. At them, and I was pissed off at myself for not being more business savvy as far as knowing about publishing and contracts and this, that, and this. I just wanted to help Dre. I just wanted to help him however I could to help him get to where he needed to go, and the company, you know. But I got one shout out. You know, Snoop gave it up for me on Stranded on Death Row.
Do you ever wish you signed Snoop?
Like I said, if I was business savvy, I could have had Snoop signed and then signed him over there. But yeah, I wish I would have signed him. You know, I wish I would have signed him.
And how did you meet him?
Elementary school. I mean, that's me and Snoop's brother, Jerry. When I say Snoop Dogg's big brother, called him Dirty Left, and this DJ, that's Snoop's older brother. Jerry's just a year old. We just a year older than Snoop, and we went to elementary school together. So Beverly would walk Jerry and Snoop across the park. I would be coming up 20th, and I bank my right on Orange, but they would be walking across King Park. And I'd be walking, because we went to a school called CIS right there across the street from the park. So she would be walking in, and we always used to just meet up in the park, and then we'd go into elementary school together. And then Snoop ended up leaving CIS, going to, I forgot what the name of the other school. It wasn't Prisk. It was another school where they had swimming, they teach you tennis, all kind of shit. We wasn't getting that, so we was upset because they only chose a few kids to go to this school. So Snoop got to go. We didn't get to go, and but it was from elementary all the way up through King Park, through youth sports, all the way into to hustling.
How did you know he was
to high school?
Because everybody, I'm sure, was rapping back then, right? I'm sure, because it was a phenomenon. How did you know? Nah, he got something special.
Shit, he was dope. Just always dope and funny. The motherfucker had you laughing. You know, he just was always dope, and with everywhere we went. You know, when we was just fucking around, I would be the guy we around and I would point at something. And as soon as I point at it, Snoop would start rapping about it. When he battling somebody, I'll point at like some roses or anything. He'd bust and then he'd turn it, say something about the roses, and then he'd tear their ass up at the same time while he talking about whatever I pointed at. And that's when I knew he was special. You know, I was like, this dude is he's special. I'm gonna push as hard as I can to try to help him, me and Nate, all of us get on, because we got something special here. And so that's what I kept doing. I just kept pushing for us, just nonstop.
What's the version of Snoop that only you know, like way before the fame? And do you think that version of him still exists?
Shit, he's still the same. Ain't nothing changed. Let me see. Well, he get a lot more serious than he did. When we was coming up, he more serious. He'll snap on a motherfucker fast. Now he wasn't like that. You know, when we was coming up, he was more calm. And
he got on Dre ass at BET Awards immediately when he says, "Yeah, I wrote a deep cover for you." And
he
snapped. He snapped immediately. Immediately. Did you peep that?
Yeah. I was just like, damn. I said, shit. I thought it was part of the script.
It didn't seem like part of the script.
Snoop wasn't reading.
No.
I don't think so.
Dre was reading.
Dre wasn't reading.
Yeah.
When you gonna do that, Warren? When you gonna say I really produced that record?
Man,
that's always the rumor. The rumor is that there's records on the Chronic and Doggy Style that you never got credited for. But
I ain't never taken nothing away from Dre. He's an incredible producer, the whole nine. I was the guy that used to go out. I would bring all of the ideas, so I would bring the samples, and I would sample it, and I play it for Dre, like, listen to this, and then he'd be like, that shit is dope, and then he would take it and add his parts to it and different things that he would do. Like I said, I you know, my what I was trying to do was just give back for you helping me learn this, that, and that, and this. Now look what I'm doing. I'm bringing this, that, and this to you to help you grow. And hell yeah, I did a lot of that shit.
you ain't get the credit though, right?
No, I didn't get no credit. I didn't get no credit, no nothing. The D's Nuts skit, I did that shit. That was off the dome. Turned the mic on. Went and got the phone, called my homegirl, put the mic up set the mic up, and just did the skit right then and there. And,
so D's Nuts, you invented that.
I did it right there. I did that right there in the studio. I invented that right there.
That's hip hop history. That's black history. That's not even black. That's American history. Everybody does that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
What about records?
Like a lot of the records on there, like Let Me Ride. That was we called them. It was back then. It was called a dub record. It wasn't a break record. It was a dub record. But I bought it from a break record store, and it was a little. I still got that record in my crates too, in the studio. It was a little part on the record that, and then it boom 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 boom. Let me ride, boom boom boom. So I let Dre hear that shit. He took that motherfucker and turned it into some other shit, right? You know, so that's what I used to do. I would bring records like that. Sometime I would sample them. Sometime I just play the record, like, listen to this shit, Dre. And that record, like, even like the Little Ghetto Boy, that was a me and Mr. Grimm record. And I gave it to them. They was like, we want to use this. So, because I had it just how Little Ghetto Boy sound, but I had the drums going boom, boom, pack, spat, boom, pat, boom, boom, pack, spat. And then Dre took it and changed the drums and did it the way he wanted to make it feel. But that idea, all of the Rudy Ray Moore stuff, I went and bought all those records from off of Melrose Street. All black exploitation soundtracks, I bought all of that stuff and we would listen to them. The skit from the Mack, that was something how, and I always say this, that's the way I was feeling when that little skit, the way it was the way it was sounding was like, I was like, this is me and you. In order for us to make this thing work, we got to get rid of the pimps, the pushes, and start all over again. You know, that's how I was feeling. So that skit was right on time. So I said, listen to this. You know, and he used that skit. Just, you know, I mean, just.
What about on Doggy Style?
Doggy Style, I didn't do nothing on Doggy Style.
Okay.
You know, I wish I did.
Did you get compensated at all, even though you weren't in the credits? Or
I didn't get shit. And it ain't. I ain't bitter about that. You know, cause I went and did my own thing. You know, I sold 6 million records, 8 million records all together on my own. Outside of that, I wasn't bitter. Pissed off, yeah, because I didn't have my business mind together. You know.
That's why I think it is like cool that you are even donating pieces of your history to the Hip Hop Museum. You know what I mean? Like even that what you just taught us, you know, the skit you're responsible for. Like, are you gonna put that type of stuff in there too?
Definitely.
Yeah, all of that. I think that's
even
dope.
Still got the shirt I wore in Regulate.
Wow.
wow.
Are you donating pieces like that?
Yeah, I got some things that I'm gonna donate. I even got the mic I did the whole album on.
Yeah.
I got I have every piece of equipment that I used.
Yeah.
All the crates that I used, from the Chronic to my records to even doing behind bars for Slick Rick and Pick It Up for Redman. People don't even know that. Pick It Up for Redman. I did the remix to Pick It Up. And just, you know, you got to get yours. I got to get mine. Tupac, Breed, did Breed's whole album. Worked with Michael Jackson. Did
Damn.
You know, I worked with a lot of people. You know, so I wasn't tripping. I'm like, shit, I'm able to move and groove and
what
still.
What was the Michael Jackson session like?
Cool. You know, he was cool.
Did you hit the weed with him?
Nah. But he was like on some like regular like.
Real cool.
Like home
They say he a nigga
like,
when you meet him.
That's straight up. It's like, what's up, man? Like that kind of shit.
Did he reach out to you or how
they
did
reached
that
out to
happen?
me. It was Renee and Bruce. At the time they was producing for him, and they asked me if I could come meet him. You know, come over to the studio. He liked your work, so he wanted you to come by the studio. So I came by. It was record one, and shit, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I was like, God damn, this is Michael motherfucking Jackson. I can't believe this shit. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was in a dream. And we chopped it up, and I produced some records for him. He done the vocals on them, so they somewhere in that vault somewhere. But I did some good records for him too. They was dope, and was also. At that time, a lot of press was against him. So I was telling him to do a song to, you know, express yourself about, you know, because everybody was down, and I forgot what it wasn't. Not that stuff that came later on with the kids stuff. It wasn't none of that stuff. It was some stuff before that they was trying to criticize him over. And I was telling him to fight back and talk about it, like express yourself about how you feel about how these people are attacking you.
Oh, was that when he used the Jewish slur, I think?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but he was being attacked, and I just told him to just, you know, express himself that way. You know.
I want to go back to the credit thing. Do you think West Coast history would look different if the credits were truly accurate?
Hell yeah, definitely would look good for my pocket. Nah.
Right.
Nah, but yeah, I mean it would look different. You know, people would, you know, would really be like, damn, so you was really involved? You know, and know that I did have input, and I ain't trying to, like I said, I ain't never trying to take nothing away from Dre, because he's that's my sensei, you know what I mean? And he's one of the dopest producers in the game, you know? But I did get down with him, you know? Me and Snoop and RBX, Daz and Corrupt, we came and brought all our and Nate Dogg, we brought our energy in, and we put it into him to blow him up.
You know, it's interesting. People always ask y'all those questions. They don't never ask Dre. But if you ask Dre, he probably would just tell you if you asked him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think the nigga do interviews that much.
He don't.
But, yeah. You know, but I mean, it is what it is. You know,
was Regulate your way of saying I don't need Dre, I don't need Suge, I don't need Snoop, I don't need nobody to make a classic record?
Nah, that was just Regulate was just you know, I just wanted to do just be different. You know, I wanted to take a record, something that's not too hard and sounding too gangster, but having a good feeling, but still telling a story on it. And then, you know, mimic. I'm not gonna lie, we mimicked what Snoop and Dre did. We did it a little bit different, but we was doing the back and forth like they was doing. So that was like how Snoop and Dre partnered up. It was me and Nate. That was my partner. That was my guy. That, you know, our chemistry was incredible, like how Snoop and Dre's was. And so we just wanted to be different. But at the same time, shit, hey, letting these niggas know, shit, I could do my shit outside of y'all, shit. You know, like you said, hey, I'm dope too. So, and I went and started doing my own thing. Like, fuck this shit, I'm gone.
You think it would be easier to tell that story if Nate was still here?
Very easy. Yeah, very easy. Oh boy, Nate'd be going in. He would go in. I actually tried to sign Nate over at Def Jam. Had a bag on the table for him, and Suge got at him before I could. And so he went and did a deal with Death Row, and then I told him what I had for him on the table, and he was like, "Nigga, what?" I said, "Nigga, I've been trying to tell your motherfucking ass the whole time that this is on the table for you, but you wanted to go ahead and dip." So, you know, but it still worked out again because I would involve him in a bunch of things that I was doing, like the nobody does it better. That was like I did that for him to build him up, and that became one of his biggest records that I produced.
How much of you left with Nate Dogg?
How much I left with him?
How much of you personally and professionally left when he left? I'm talking about like when he passed away. Yeah. I mean, a lot left. That was my dog. You know, as far as just every day we talking on the phone or in the studio working, and we used to talk shit to each other. I ain't gonna lie, we would go at it, but you know, he'd be like, "Fuck you," or he'd say, "Nigga, you a bitch." You know, now I'll say, I'll get back at it. "No, nigga, you a bitch." You know, back at it. We'll fight, squabble, you know, all that. And the next day, he would call like, "What's up?" So I'm like, "Motherfucker, why you calling me after all that bullshit that you talked to me?" And nigga, no, this. What time we getting in the studio? And I'm like, "Nigga, what you mean? What time we getting in the studio?" Shit, 3:00. Let's go. But you never said apologize, nigga.
No, I'll be ready. We'd jump. I should have been on him, but we'd jump right back in. And nah, he would. Nate was my guy. So a lot left on the musical side because I do music that some artists don't understand it. I know he'd kill it, and that shit would turn into some classic shit. So I have to try to teach certain artists when I do the music for them, like, look, do this. You know, he knew what to do, so I try to school him and tell him, okay, I want you to do it like this. And you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But he knew exactly what to do.
I always wanted to hear you and Ty Dolla $ign's work together because I feel like Ty.
I got a record. Actually, I got a. It didn't get out there.
Oh, I'm about to say it. Okay. I'm like, I ain't never heard no Ty.
It didn't get out there, but I got a couple records with Ty. I got records with Ty. I got records with Snoop. I did a record with Wiz. That's me and Wiz got a smash coming called Mad at All. That's a smash. Got a record with Wayne called All Alone. I got records. I got some really, really, really dope music that I've been putting together, man. Some really dope shit.
Why the record with Ty never came out? Because I feel like Ty is fruit off Nate Dogg's tree.
I still got them. You know, I still got them. I may drop it. I got it. I may drop it on. You know, I got different projects that I'm working on. So I'm sure I'm gonna drop it on one of these EPs I'm doing. I don't want to do no full lengths no more. I like the EP thing where I give them like 8 here, 8 here, 8 there. I even got one with me and Nate, just me and him, a EP that I'm gonna have coming as well.
Oh, unreleased.
Unreleased.
Wow.
Yeah, we got some dope shit. People gonna be tripping like how dope he is. We did a lot of records. We was actually working on an album right around when he passed away. So that you know, we had about 15 in the can already, and we had other ideas as well. So I got a bunch of stuff that we did, and I'm gonna put together a Warren G and Nate Dogg EP, just me and him.
Now, we talk about the bad business back in the day. Did you own everything for Regulators? Is that all yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so every time we hear it sampled, every time it's in a movie, every time it's a TV commercial, they gotta call
master publishing. Yeah, that.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's why your skin looks so good.
Yes.
I ain't gonna lie. I still, you know, it's still. I still get treated good, you know, from doing that song, and what the thing I loved about it the most is being able to meet Michael McDonald at a concert, and him telling me how much he appreciate me doing the redoing Regulate, and he like, my son don't even like my version. He like your version better than mine. So I was like, I was blown away. I got it on video. I'm gonna put it in.
Did you perform
something.
with him? Did he bring you up?
No. I was sitting in the crowd, and he was just, yeah, you know, this is a song that a guy, you guys,
Black guy did.
Yeah, name Warren G, and by the way, Warren G is in the crowd down there, and da 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 da. And they was like, and they shined the light and shit, and but it was just cool just to get that experience. Just me and my wife, we went up in there, and you know, just sat right up in the front, and then they pulled us to the back, and we chopped it up.
That's dope.
Yeah, I know you love them royalty checks he been getting off Regulate.
Hell yeah, shit yeah.
How much did you have to pay? Because Sting had to pay. They said Sting was paying Diddy $2,000 a day. Some shit like that.
It was Diddy paying Sting.
Diddy was paying Sting $2,000 a day.
We got it split to where everybody, when it's time, you know, quarterly when they come, boom, they get theirs. Doobie Brothers get theirs. Michael McDonald get his, and Nate Estate get his, and then I get mine.
All right.
You know how to make money other ways. You're in the barbecue business now.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and you competing in the barbecue festival next month?
Yes, indeed. Well, actually, this weekend, it's a national barbecue festival in God dog it, it's Long Island. Getting ready to get down. You know, that's what I love to do outside of hip hop is you know, cook.
Love that.
And I'm a pit master. I ain't a mega chef. I'm a pit master, but all the chefs still call me a chef. They like, hey, chef.
Right.
And I'm like, God damn, okay. Big names too. And I'm like, damn. So I created my own sauces and rubs. I done had a brain fart. I ain't got my shit sitting on the table up here for you guys. I'm gonna get
you
something.
ain't bring no barbecue sauce.
I can't believe. Oh my God, I got this. I got in so early. It's all on my goddamn bus.
So that video wasn't no bullshit. What video was you on the grill in?
Yeah.
You was on the video.
G-Thing.
G-Thing, yeah.
I was
flipping the rib.
Well, no, I was by the pit, you know, rolling it up.
I thought you was flipping the rib.
I've always been doing that though. From day one, everything we've done, I've always would cook, and it came from my father. You know, just around family functions, when we would have functions, everybody having a good time, he'd be cooking on the grill. You know, motherfuckers be drunk, you know, squabbing a little bit here and there, but just not serious, but just family reunion type stuff, and it stuck with me. So I started doing it ever since I was probably like, I'd say about 14, 15 years old, just everywhere I went. even with hustling, everything, I would always cook. And to where I got serious about it, I was grilling at first, and then I got into the smoke world and started learning that world from a bunch of different pit masters from like Austin, Texas, and from all over. And they embraced me and showed me a lot. So, now I got it. Not all the way down like some of the, but I'm damn sure for try to kick some ass and win it.
Well, congratulations on Snip and Griffin. That's
Thank you.
the barbecue
Just
line.
other business ventures outside of hip hop, and I always like to tell the young world, because dudes be walking, they be having money stacked this motherfucking high. What the fuck is you gonna just keep walking with money like that? Nigga, take that shit and go invest.
Get these
Why you
niggas a
sitting
debit
there?
card or something.
That's why you hear about them getting robbed and shit. Nigga, go invest that shit. Go buy some land. Get into real estate. Create you a business outside of hip hop, but use hip hop as a tool. I love hip hop and I ain't gonna never stop doing it, but I'm gonna use that as a tool as well to push this and push that, just like the corporations do.
That's right.
So all these young guys out there flashing with that money, y'all go invest that shit, because when it run out, then you're gonna be back to trying to do some shit that you don't want to do.
How you hook up with Icewear Vizo?
Bezo.
Bezo, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, one of my cousins out of Chattanooga, man, he had hit me. He was like, "Hey, cuz, you seen this?" And so he sent me the video. So I played it, and I was like, damn, okay. He redid it. This shit sound hard.
Streets ain't the same.
Yeah, and then one of my other homies hit me, because I'm an Xbox head, so I'm on the Xbox, and in the party, one of my homeboys in the Xbox party, Mamba, hit me. He was like, "Warren, you heard that Icewear Vezo?" I was like, damn, nigga, you said it, he said it. So I started listening again. I was like, this motherfucker is hard. And then Snoop posted it. And I was like, damn, this shit is hard. And so I DM'd him. I said, look, send me an open 12. I'm going to bust on that motherfucker. So he sent it, and I sent it back, and he was like, OG, this is I love it. This is a classic. He was like, I'm going to push this. And I said, hey, it's all good. And he was like, so he thinking that I would be tripping, because, he was like, he didn't try to use so many different samples from other artists, and they like, hell no, they mean about it. I was like, nigga, use that motherfucker. I don't care, because it ain't nothing but recycling. Because you blow it up, then hey, that's even more that come in. I don't want nothing. You ain't got to pay me nothing, none of that. It'll pay for itself. So I said, you could use anything I got.
Love that.
Use it.
That's dope.
Because it's gonna, it's gonna help you, and it's gonna help bring in, keep the recycling going. So
Have you ever confronted anybody about not getting your flowers? Or are you just to let the music and the work speak for itself type?
I let the work and the music speak for itself. I don't want to get into that mode where I start tripping on fools, because I go hard, and I don't want to get there. Everybody else like, Warren, you so nice, you so cool, but I get off in the motherfucker ass. I just don't choose to go that route, and I don't like to argue with motherfuckers and do all that extra shit. I'm just like, I'm gonna let this do speak for me. Motherfuckers know though. I mean, they know I ain't gonna sit up there and play no motherfucking games. I'm cool, but. And I should have been more active. Vocal? Yeah, vocal and active. But it's just like, I've seen so many people do foul shit to a lot of people, a lot of guys. Like, I done seen motherfuckers talk shit about Dre, motherfuckers talk shit about Snoop, and then they ass is right up under them. I ain't that type of motherfucker. I ain't gonna talk about these motherfuckers and then get in their face. If I got something to say to them, I'll say it to them. And yeah, I did talk about the Super Bowl shit. I was pissed off. It just wasn't cool, and it wasn't like something that I just brought up and did this and did that. It was a whole story to it that led up to that, and it was a witness there. One of my guys, he with our crew, he sat right next to me, and he was even tripping, and he got down there and went back there, and I'm still in the fucking crowd.
Wow.
But I just wanted to go back there and hang out, me and my son. That was it. I don't.
But now that you had a story and you understand how it is, and the fact that y'all were so close, and you introduced, you understand why. Because I don't think a lot of people necessarily knew. Did you speak to Dre or Snoop? Well, of course you spoke to Snoop. Did you speak to Dre after that? Have y'all had a conversation?
Nah, I ain't talked to him. I done reached out to talk to him a few times. But he always would be busy. But I ain't got nothing against him.
And you ain't seen I don't know. That was right there.
I didn't even sing. I was focused on doing what I had to do. But
y'all don't have the best relationship, huh?
I don't even know what kind of relationship we have. I ain't seen him in a while. We ain't talked in a while, or hung out. I ain't got nothing against him, but I don't know if there's a problem or not. I don't know.
Was there something that got y'all to this point?
Huh?
Was there something that got y'all to this point?
I have no idea. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if somebody may have told him some shit or said some shit, because a lot of motherfuckers will do that just to get up under a person. They'll say, well, he did it or something. I don't know. But and I ain't tripping either at the same time. I ain't got nothing against him, but that shit just was kind of weird, when I look up to you, and that's my guy still. Like I said, that's my sensei. And we could sit down and talk whenever, face to face, and put it all out there. And if it's something that I did and I was wrong, hey, it is what it is. Okay, I was wrong. If you don't want to fuck with me no more, that's fine. Cool. But being in the blind and not knowing what's going on, I don't know. But because that's what it seemed like. It to me, it seemed like it may be a problem by. It just felt like a problem. I'm in my homeboy. I love that nigga to death. That's my dog. He said, I don't bring shit to work with me. That's totally different. That I don't think he was talking about me.
When Snoop was up here, when Snoop was up here.
I don't think he was talking about me as far as me being shit coming with him to go to the studio or wherever to work, because that's all we ever did was get down and go to the studio together. Go up there. We would have fun. That's it. It wasn't no. So just clearing that. Snoop is my homeboy. I have no problems with Dre. This my best friend. You two guys, y'all hang out. This my best friend.
And this your brother.
And this is my brother. It just be weird, and I don't. And when I say weird, as far as it's like, we don't go out to eat together no more. We don't do family shit where we get the kids out and do shit like that. Go jet skiing or go skiing, or it ain't about like some music shit or this, that, and this. I just hang out like we used to. I don't know nobody else. You are the motherfuckers I grew with in this industry. That's it. It ain't it. That's it. Just hanging out. Let's like being a crew again, a family again. I'm just, that's it.
Warren, it's okay to say I miss you, my brother. It's okay to tell your people I miss you.
Well,
I don't know why
niggas,
we so tough as men. It's like, yo, Dre, I miss you.
No.
Snoop, I miss you. It's okay.
No, them niggas know that. Snoop know that shit, because I chime in with Snoop. When we don't talk for a while, I chime in with him like, nigga, just this G-Dub, I'm checking in. We ain't talked in a minute, so I'm checking in. I can't do that with Dre. Me and Snoop, we talk all the time, because recently, we kind of like was distanced a little bit, and I'm like, I hear Snoop like, what's going on? We ain't talked in a while, but not knowing that he was going through some things, and as your best friend, you got to tell me that, because I don't know if you don't tell me. So he had like he mentioned,
he lost his mom.
Not with the moms. He was like, my daughter, her daughter came premature, so
His granddaughter,
you know,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and she's about to go home, like he said, finally about to go home. I didn't know that, so he wasn't returning my call. So I was like, damn, this nigga Snoop ain't fucking with me. What's going on? And then he finally hit me and told me what was going on. So I was like, damn, man. So I told him, I'm always praying for you, and I'm always there for you when, like I have been through all the situations that he done been going through. Because I went through that same exact thing where I lost my grandmother, my mother, my mother-in-law. I lost my both aunties, my grandfather. I lost, like, all this shit was like in a row, and I was fucked up, So I've been through it. So that's why I was able to walk him through what he was going through with losing his mother, because I lost mine too in '99. So I've been motherless for a long time. Kids don't even know their grandmother, never met their grandmother. So mine's so just to be able there to tell them that, and understand that this is life. This is what we're gonna have to go through. And you just gotta man up. You gotta understand that this is life. We gonna have to go through this. Our kids gonna have to go through this shit. So just understand that, and you'll be better about everything. Right. You'll feel better. You cry, because I still cry. Now Charlamagne, I cry now. I ain't, like you say, just say I miss you guys. You know what I mean? I mean. That's it. It's just being a family again. Right. It ain't. I ain't tripping other than that. But if it is a problem, nigga, address the shit. Tell me, and then I'll be fine with that. I ain't tripping. Shit, the G'd up, keep it moving.
But y'all came up together. Y'all created a community, and then just look at, man, y'all survived.
Yeah.
That'd be beautiful
through a lot.
Just sit around and kick it and just talk.
Yeah.
We celebrate survive.
Yeah. One thing that did have that I was really crushed about, and I have said it before, it was a situation where I was in a studio situation, and it was after Dre left, and I didn't know that he left, and I was mad at him because he didn't tell me that he had left Death Row. So I went to a studio session. And was people was trying to get at me, like, they was trying to whoop my ass up in that motherfucker, but I got up out of the mix. But I was kind of pissed off about that right there, and I never got the call, like, don't go around that shit. Wow. So and these niggas, if they had a chance to crack my head open, they would have cracked it. I was just able to get away and get out of that situation, and the things that I'm not gonna lie, and I was locked and loaded, but it just wasn't worth it to end everything I got going on right now for me cracking this motherfucker for snatching my chain, because a motherfucker snatched my chain. And then another guy came in and caused a diversion. When he caused that diversion, I walked out. And when I walked out is when I was able to get out and get away and able to make my calls for my shit to come right back, and it came right back, and I still got it to this day. I sounded like Trump when I say that.
Did you talk to Dre about that ever?
We ain't never had, like I said, we ain't talked in a long time.
So y'all ain't talked since that's the 90s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
I mean, we see each other, here and there. We just ain't talk. I don't, right. It ain't no, like I said, ain't no static. He just like that. That's just how he is. He just do his own thing, But if it is a problem or something, I wish he would say it, or should have said it. But people who be around be like, he always talking about you saying this and that and this. Good shit. Mm-hmm. But we never talk.
Yeah. So hold on. So since Aftermath, Eminem, 50 Cent, that whole...
we around that time I used to be up at the studio.
Okay.
We even went to the islands.
And wasn't y'all on the Up and Smoke tour? Or am I making that
We
up?
did the Up and Smoke tour. Yeah.
It's just
I
still a
made
distance.
$4,500 a show.
Oh, $4,500 a show.
45. I swear to God.
Did they at least pay for your hotel and travel and all that?
I had to pay for all that shit.
Man, what
Oh,
the
45 all in.
Yeah.
You made about
All in each
$1,500 a show with all that. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Warren, this
I
is not
mean,
right.
this is this. I'm just saying that's the type of stuff that I've been through. You know, so that's why I kind of like be to myself and just away from everything. So I try to do a lot of shit on my own because I you know, shit just But
You
hey,
think it's your demeanor?
it's a new day, a new time. Well, I was pretty rough. I ain't gonna lie, Charlamagne.
said he squabbled 31 times in this interview. He said he didn't squabble.
I was a hard head. I was immature back then. I was immature. Just I wasn't like just a mega fighting machine, but I was down, and just doing stupid shit back then. But you still don't, that ain't got nothing to do because you grow with anything, because you grow in the business, and I've grown a whole lot from what I used to be, getting caught with guns and shit, and them taking me, cuffing me, pulling me. I was headed to do 5 years, and that motherfucker, the judge, went in the holding tank, pulled me back out the holding tank, and told me, he said, because he seen my son in the room. I just had a baby, and he said, I'm gonna give you this chance. He said, you could go ahead and knock the 5 years out right now, or you can do joint suspension 5 years. I said, shit, I'll take the joint suspension. So he had him uncuff me, take me out, and release me, joint suspension 5 years. And I did that 5 years joint suspension. Didn't get no trouble. I did, but I didn't. They didn't know it. And went clean. And since the beginning of that 5 year joint suspension, I did do some stupid shit during that time. I just didn't get, like I said, get caught up for it. But after that, I have not been to date. I ain't been in no trouble since then. From that point on. But not saying like I said, I don't start shit with motherfuckers. I keep it pushing because it's just, life is too short for that shit. Right. To be arguing or motherfuckers trying to, all the talking, all that gang shit. That shit is just, I'm past all of that. Absolutely. I'm trying to create businesses and help people grow. Yeah.
And just barbecue, man.
And barbecue. That's what I love to do, and drink me a beer. Smoke me a joint.
There you go.
Well, you know what? I want people to watch this interview, and at the end of it, I want them to think to themselves, Warren G introduced Snoop to Dre. So West Coast rap wouldn't exist the way it does without you. And you saved Def Jam. Yeah. So the East Coast wouldn't exist the way it does without you. Because that $100 million Def Jam made, that they used that to invest into the next generation of East Coast artists.
Which was
so Warren G,
Jay-Z.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You are a pillar in hip hop.
Justin Bieber.
Like I like comic books. I like the Marvel universe. Like you like Loki holding a bunch of branches together. In this thing called hip hop. So man, they gotta give it up to you, man.
Yeah. The thing what would have been cool, what is cool, even though I gotta wait like 4 more years, is just if they gave me my masters back, that would be cool. If I was the company, I'd be like, damn, this motherfucker did all this. Boom, let's give him this shit. We got Jay-Z, we got Kanye, we got all this shit over. Drake, we got all these catalogs and shit over here. We don't really need this.
Don't you get your masters back after?
I got 4 more years.
4 more years, you said, okay.
But shit, fuck all that. I need it
now.
Right. Damn.
We appreciate you for joining us, brother.
No, it's all good. Thank
You're
you
a legend
guys
in
for
this
having
game
me.
and love to hear your story. And
I was getting ready to
us.
come in here. I was going to say, we're going to get this shit started off right now.
Oh, we finished up. We got all 3 of us.
Yeah. Hey, that was classic. I said it. That nigga crazy. Man, when I seen that shit, I was like, this shit is crazy.
Well, we know you like the squad, but we glad we're not number 32. So let's
no,
just leave it at that.
it's all good, man. I ain't no rowdy fighting ass motherfucker, but I just I just be Warren,
There
you
you
know. I just be myself.
Well, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It's Warren G.
Much love, you guys.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Chatch.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.